Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and look, we talked about March of the Machines, we talked about Lord of the Rings, so I think it's time to talk about Commander Masters. Yeah, Commander Master is probably going to be the most expensive normal set. Normal set? It's not. It's a master set, so it's not a normal set. It's going to be the most expensive set we've probably ever had as we continue to push further and further on what we think is a acceptable price for products. Well, so the first thing to understand is with we know there's an upper ceiling now, right? So this whole anniversary 30th edition, $250 is too much for one pack of cards. However, maybe 20, 30, 40 bucks for a pack is not too expensive. We currently have, double masters, right? Double masters sold collector's boosters for, I guess, like about $100 each. I guess now the open market price is about, let's see, like $80, maybe 70 bucks for each pack. And we're still pushing closer to that $100 like we did for Double Masters, the first one, right? Double Masters, the first one, not Double Master 2022. It's very confusing. It's a lot of different sets of doubling all the profits and doubling all the cost. So yeah, there's no way to put it, right? Commander Masters will be the most expensive Magic set ever. And I think WOTC has now understood overall what the grand strategy is. That lower supply is going to yield more dollars. As we've talked about with the whole print run situation, it's not cutting print runs, but it's creating constant FOMO. And WOTC understands they have a lot of products to release. At the same time, if they can trickle that product instead of saying, here's all the product up front, tank the price, and then people lose confidence in the product over time, that doesn't work for them. So what they're doing now is they're just going to create a lot of FOMO, right? Go back to the original model of hey, pre-release or whatever, that first week, first month, man, everything's super barren, super dry. You can't get boxes. Boxes are still skyrocketing in price. Stores feel good. People feel good. Everybody feels good. And then suddenly the price tanks, but nobody cares anymore because we're looking at the next set, right? This is what I think the strategy is coming into 2023. And they're going to be a little bit cautious this year doing this because, again, new strategy. But next year, they're really going to push this pretty heavily. Because they're looking across the street. They're seeing what Pokemon's doing. They're seeing what MetaZoo's doing, Flesh and Blood, Yu-Gi-Oh! Even. Yu-Gi-Oh! Prices are pretty low. So look, they're seeing what other TCGs are doing, and they're just saying, well, if they can do that, we can do the same. And we're Magic, so we're the biggest, we're beefy kid on the block, right? So we can definitely pull our weight in this field too. And let's be honest, at this point, if you don't understand this, you're living under a rock. You haven't seen sunlight for 7 years, and you're probably turning into Golem. Is that Magic and WOTC in general understands exactly what their player likes. It's not standard. It's not modern. It's not legacy, vintage, Pioneer. I know Pioneer is super hot right now, but it's not Pioneer. It's Commander. Commander sells everything. If a card is good for Commander, likely it'll be the most expensive card, right? No one's buying dual lands for legacy, really. So most of this use cases for a lot of their cards nowadays is for Commander. If a Commander card comes out, it's Dockside Extortionist, okay? Just understand exactly what their target audience is. So yes, Magic knows this. So if they sell a Commander master set, of course they're going to charge up the ass. And guess what? All the players are going to eat it up. They're going to totally buy it. Why would they not buy it? This product is built for the Commander players who want to pay a ton of money and apparently have the money to go buy these things, right? And they don't want to make the same mistake that they're making in Dungeons & Dragons. See, originally when Commander was released, we were reusing a lot of cards that basically had no other use case in other formats, right? Too expensive to cast, large creatures, large spells, etc. But of course now we have printed Commander cards that are better than everything we've had. So it forces rotation. And single time you force rotation, it sells products. So WOTC understands this fully. And the only way to really fix this is maybe we have to make a new format. maybe whatever. Like there's a lot of, like things flying around on the internet of like whatever format we're gonna do, but let's be honest, it's just Commander. Commander's here to stay. People love it. People are going to spend a lot of money for it, and the Commander players are the people who are decking their deck out. They're willing to spend a ton of money for a very special looking card. So let's just be real with this. Also, recently, WOTC understands exactly how to make money. You make money through FOMO. You don't make money through quantity, right? So the plan back in 2020, 2021, 2022 was, let's print more cards. Well, if I print 100 boxes and each box I make $5, I only made $500. Well, if I print 1,000, I can make $5,000, and just take that equation to infinitum, right? Okay, if I print 100,000, 1 million, I make 5 million. Cool. The problem is that you realize, well, the market won't absorb 1 million boxes of whatever, 3 million, 10 million, right? So the new idea is, well, we have to create FOMO. It's not about printing like 1 million boxes and making $5 per box. It's creating FOMO, printing maybe 500,000 boxes, but each box, because everyone thinks the quantity is actually around like, let's say 50,000, 1/10 of what it really is, well, they're gonna pay us and give us profits of maybe $50 a box. And then we're gonna slow trickle that quantity out to the market, and guess what? Oh, now we made a ton more money. That's the new strategy of WOTC. It's pretty clear. Look, we'll just have to see what happens in the next couple sets, but basically this is what they're trying to do. Commander Masters, guarantee you it's going to be short printed, guarantee you there's going to be not enough supply, especially in the beginning, and secretly we're going to have wave 2, wave 3, wave 4 that are very silent, very quiet, right? They come in the market, they get gobbled up, and then people are like, well, there's a little bit more, don't know where they're coming from. But I guarantee you, if it does happen this way, especially, right, what I'm predicting comes true, I will be the first to tell you about it. I will let you know if that's actually what's happening. So, okay, going forward, right, about reprints, all this stuff. More and more products will have supply shock. Just get ready for this. We've seen it with Fire Exhale All Will Be One. We're probably going to see it for March of the Machine. We're probably going to see it for the Lord of the Rings set. Actually, we're probably going to see a very extreme supply shock for Lord of the Rings set. My prediction, right? Again, look, they're cutting back supply, obviously, a little bit. But what they're really doing is cutting back the amount of supply that gets released to the market and how like they spread out that release over time. Especially this year, towards the end of the year, we see a dump for Fire Exhale All Will Be One boxes, Brothers War boxes, etc. And the boxes from like a year ago, then you can see right away what their new strategy is, right? Release it slowly, harvest the FOMO, and then dump the rest onto the market so they don't have to hold inventory. That may be the new strategy. Again, basically right now, I think you shouldn't expect any rapid Amazon dumps right now. However, there could still be more coming in the future. We just don't know at all. So personally, I still remain pretty firm on my original saying, if you want to play Magic, right, you should go buy boxes, draft boosters, whatever. Totally fine. But I wouldn't buy a bunch of them at like whatever price they are on the market and hold, expecting them to go higher. This is not a good entry point price, especially for these boxes that I believe are artificially limited in quantity, right? It's not that they're actually short printed, it's that there's a trickling that's happening from WOTC to the market. So yeah, especially for Fire Exhale All Will Be One. Given how much effort they put into the boxes, given how much effort they put into designing the boxes, I am fairly confident that they did not print less of this product because they wanted to capitalize every single sale of this product that they can. And of course, as a company, it's always difficult. You have to predict your supply or predict your demand before you print, so it's not easy. But again, for a product like this, they were expecting it to sell very well, and it did indeed sell very well. And the cards in it would tell you that it's going to sell very well, just like what it looks like March of the Machine will be doing as well. There's some very, very powerful cards, and it's going to change a lot of formats, and there's new card types coming. It's going to be pretty huge. So there's that. Lastly, about reprints. If you haven't understood this yet, you will understand it now, which is that there are no sacred cows. This is why a lot of the other, I think, bigger names out there are kind of dumping their cards, right? I see like Daniel stumping cards, like there's a bunch of people who are like, wavering on the whole reserve list and wavering on their current collections. Dude, I see it everywhere. Blood's on the street. Personally, I like the cards. Personally, even if they print a new dual land, looks just like the old one, it will never be like the old one, in my opinion. But I know a lot of people don't feel that way. And yes, of course, if there's going to be a ton of dual lands out there, well, the dual lands are going to be worth very little, even if you have the original one or old one, whatever. So maybe, and this is where a lot of my other friends are moving towards alpha. Like it's alpha, beta only. They don't even take unlimited cards anymore. Alpha, beta only for their buy list. That's where they're going for. And that's what they're holding long term, right? So I think that's about right because alpha was so limited in its numbers and it's so unique looking with the whole rounded corners, the marking, that yes, I think long term probably alpha would still retain its price, even if something like Black Lotus gets reprinted. The alpha Black Lotus would still probably mean something to someone, right? So there's that. But again, there's no sacred cows. WOTC is going to make money. Everything that can be reprinted will be reprinted, and everything that's basically like gonna make money, they're gonna be reprinted. The only reason that WOTC doesn't reprint anything, in my opinion, right? Again, just what I'm saying, is because there's some 5D chess going on. They have a grand plan, grand strategy for why that card won't be reprinted, right? So I've talked about pseudo reserve lists before. So things like obviously serialized cards, right? You can't dilute the actual serialization of that specific card. Meaning you can't, like if you printed 500 copies, right? One of one, one of two, whatever, that kind of stuff. You can't have like 5,000 one of ones of the same card. But you can dilute serialized cards in general, right? And this is what WOTC does. In the beginning, they print one card and it looks really cool. And there's a lot of FOMO for that hype for that card. But what happens long term as they print more and more serialized cards? Every set has serialized cards. Then essentially all the serialization doesn't matter too much. And now it's going to detriment all the value of every single serialized cards as there are more serialized cards coming into the market. If you don't believe me about this, go look at what happened to baseball cards, the sports collectible card during the era when they were going heavy on serialization, the one of ones, etc. Now that's still happening, but they've kind of pulled back because they realize there's a problem when you make everything special. Nothing is. Repeat after me, right? This is our mantra of the channel. If everything is special, nothing is. This happened with showcase cards. This is happening with serialized cards now as we speak, and who knows what in the future. But if they decide to not print a certain card, I guarantee you it's because there's some other special thing they're trying. So a good example of this would be like Edgar Markov, right? They haven't really printed Edgar Markov. There's debate in the field of whether Edgar Markov would get printed, reprinted, whatever, right? My inkling on that is part of it is Wizards is really thinking, hey, this card is not fun to play against because, again, it's too powerful with Eminence. But who's to say in the future when there are way more powerful abilities and Eminence is really no big deal? Sure, then Edgar Markov is back on the reprint list, right? So there's some 5D chess grand strategy that Wizard obviously is employing when they don't reprint a certain card. But there are no sacred cows, so do not hold on to any cards, especially modern cards, and expect them to go up in value, even if they're doing that now. So good example are Ragavans, Dockside, these kind of cards that are out there, they're expensive, Solitude, your general Modern Horizons 2 cards. They are expensive now, but there are no sacred cows, and they will tank eventually. So keep the cards you're going to use to play. Everything that's extra, sell it. It's my recommendation. I don't expect everyone to follow this, obviously, but that's how I feel. Mark Solar Games, speaking truth cardboard. Stay classy.